A woman spent over a year raising a child she thought was her niece, only to discover it was actually her husband's affair baby. The betrayal? Absolutely sickening. The family's response? Even worse. But here's the kicker. Everyone's calling her the bad guy for wanting to walk away. And trust me, that's just the first story we're diving into today, because we've got cheating exes demanding sympathy, toxic family members asking for free labor, and relationships imploding over a can of Pepsi. Yeah, you heard that right. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to AITAH Chronicles, where we break down the most jaw-dropping, rage-inducing Reddit AITA stories that'll have you yelling at your screen. If you're here for the drama, the moral debates, and those "wait, what?" moments, you're exactly where you need to be. We're on a mission to hit 10K subscribers. And honestly, every like, every comment, every single one of you watching right now is getting us closer to that goal. So if you're loving the content, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop a comment letting me know which story fires you up the most. All right, let's not waste any more time because today's first story is absolutely unhinged. And I need you to hear this. Am I the asshole for wanting to walk away from my marriage and the child we were raising after finding out the child is biologically my husband's? Okay, y'all, I need everyone to stop what they're doing right now because this post from r/Emmy the asshole is absolutely unhinged. We're talking cheating, family conspiracies, secret babies, and a level of betrayal that honestly sounds like a rejected soap opera script. Buckle up, because this one is a lot. So our writer starts by saying there's a lot to unpack, and she's still processing everything because it's all newly revealed. She's angry about all of this. Yeah, I'd be angry too. Actually, angry feels like a massive understatement for what's about to go down. But let's get into it. 4 years ago, the writer's husband's sister adopted a child. The sister had talked about wanting to be a single mom by choice, and when her friend had a baby she didn't want to raise, the sister stepped in and offered to become the baby's mom. Everyone was supportive and welcomed the child into the family. Okay, so this starts out actually really sweet, right? Like, this sounds wholesome. A woman who wants to be a mom, stepping up for a child who needs a home. The family's all supportive, everyone's happy. It's giving heartwarming news story vibes. Keep this wholesome adoption story energy in your mind because it's about to get destroyed. 2.5 years ago, the husband's sister was diagnosed with MS. She unfortunately declined rapidly and asked our writer and her husband to take in the child. They agreed, and they didn't have kids of their own yet, which made it easier. They made sure the sister still got to spend time with her child, and she asked them to continue raising the child no matter how bad she gets or if she dies. They agreed to this. First of all, this is already devastating on its own. This woman gets diagnosed with MS, her health goes downhill fast, and she has to ask someone else to raise her child. That's heartbreaking, and our writer, she stepped up. She said yes to raising what she thought was her niece or nephew, made sure the bio mom could still see the kid, and committed to being there long term. That's genuinely selfless and beautiful, which makes what's coming next absolutely disgusting. The writer says her husband never acted weird around the child, never acted like he had some secret. He just acted like an uncle willing to step in and raise his sister's child. This man deserves an Oscar. Like, genuinely. Someone give this man an acting award because the audacity to look your wife in the face every single day while she's raising your biological child and just act totally normal. The level of deception is making me physically ill. Every diaper change, every sleepless night, every milestone, he watched his wife do all of it while keeping this massive secret. I'm so mad right now. Recently, the husband's sister confessed to the writer that the husband was the biological father of this child. I'm sorry, what? Pause. Everyone reading this, take a breath because this is where everything explodes into absolute chaos. She said the husband and her best friend used to hook up occasionally, and he did it again right before the wedding. This child is the result of his infidelity. Right before the wedding. Not some ancient history, not a complicated past situation. This man hooked up with someone right before marrying our writer and created a whole human. And his sister knew this entire time. She knew her adopted child was actually her brother's affair baby, and she just let the writer raise this kid without knowing. The layers of betrayal here are insane. This is like a betrayal lasagna, and every single layer is worse than the last. Our writer was sick when she found out. The sister said she couldn't keep lying because eventually it would come out, and she wanted to minimize the damage. Minimize the damage? Minimize? Girl, the damage is already catastrophic. You let this woman bond with this child for over a year and a half while knowing it was her husband's secret love child. There's no minimizing that. That ship has sailed, hit an iceberg, and sunk to the bottom of the ocean. The writer confronted her husband, and he denied it. So she asked him to do a DNA test. He denied it even when caught. Even when his own sister confessed everything, this man really said, nope, that's not true. The absolute gall. The DNA test confirmed he's the father. There's no doubt. Science said, you're a liar, here's proof. Can't argue with genetics, buddy. The husband told her nothing happened since they were married, he loves her, and he's sorry for what he did. He said it was a drunk night before their wedding and he would never do something like that again. Oh, wow. Nothing happened? Since the marriage? Someone give this man a trophy for doing the bare minimum of not cheating after he already cheated and created a baby. Like, sir, you want applause for keeping it in your pants after you already had an affair baby right before your wedding? The bar is in hell. And the I was drunk excuse? Being drunk doesn't make you accidentally fall into bed with someone. You still made choices. You made the choice to cheat, and then you made the choice every single day after to lie about it while watching your wife raise your affair child. Then he said he wanted them to be a family and offered to adopt his child and raise them together. He told her this doesn't have to end them. I am screaming. This man really just said, hey, so I know I cheated, had a baby, and orchestrated an elaborate scheme with my sister to trick you into raising my affair child while lying to you for years. But like, what if we just kept going? What if you adopt my affair baby and we pretend this is fine? Sir, what dimension are you living in where this is reasonable? Our writer left the house and has been staying with her sister since the DNA results. She's disgusted and doesn't want to sign up for this. She knows the baby is innocent, but she can only see what her husband did, and she can't imagine raising them and acting like their mom while keeping her husband in her life. And this is the most heartbreaking part. She knows this child is innocent. She's not blaming the kid, but she's also human, and she can't just turn off her feelings. Every time she looks at this child, she's going to see the betrayal and the lies. That's not the kid's fault, but it's also not something you can just logic away. People acting like she should just get over it are delusional. The husband's sister has reached out to apologize multiple times and told the rest of the family the truth. The husband's parents have tried to contact the writer to get her back with her husband. They told her she has a family now and she can't leave, especially not with their daughter unable to raise this baby again. She had to block them because their messages kept blaming and shaming her for not agreeing to marriage counseling and moving forward as a family. Oh, absolutely not. The audacity of these people is making my blood boil. So their son cheated, had a baby, lied for years, and they're mad at the wife for not wanting to stick around? They're blaming her? Make it make sense. The "you have a family now and you can't leave" line is so manipulative. Like they're trying to trap her with guilt. She didn't sign up for this family. She signed up for a family based on honesty, not lies and affairs and conspiracy. Our writer says she doesn't see a way back from this, but she has been in this child's life since birth and raised them for more than a year and a half. She just knows she could never be a good mom to them knowing what she knows. Some things you can work through in a marriage. This is not one of those things. This is foundation crumbling, trust destroying, life altering deception involving multiple people lying to her for years. So am I the asshole for wanting to divorce and walk away? Let me be crystal clear. No, absolutely not. The writer is not the asshole. She did not sign up to raise her husband's affair child. She signed up to help raise what she believed was her niece or nephew out of love and family duty. That's completely different. The entire premise was based on a lie. She was deceived about the fundamental nature of this situation. Yes, the child is innocent. Yes, it's sad this kid is caught in the middle. But The writer is also a victim here, and she's allowed to say, I can't do this. She's allowed to have boundaries. She's allowed to decide this level of betrayal is unacceptable. Nobody gets to guilt her into staying in a marriage built on lies. The real assholes, the husband who cheated and lied for years, the sister who orchestrated this deception, the in-laws trying to manipulate her into staying for their convenience. They destroyed this family, not her. Walking away doesn't make her a bad person. It makes her someone who knows her limits and refuses to set herself on fire to keep everyone else warm. That takes real strength, not the asshole, not even a little bit. Am I the asshole for how I responded to my ex and his affair partner about her infertility? Okay, y'all, grab your snacks and get comfortable because today's post from r/Am I the Asshole is absolutely wild. We've got cheating, affair partners trying to play stepmom, custody battles, and the audacity of two people thinking they can destroy a marriage and then demand sympathy. This one's gonna make you mad. I'm warning you right now. Our writer's ex-husband cheated on her with a coworker, and she didn't find out about the affair until 3 years after it started. 3 years. That's not a drunken mistake. That's not a one-time slip-up. That's a whole entire secret relationship while this man was married with 3 very young children at home. The level of deception required to maintain an affair for 3 years while raising babies is actually psychotic. Like, you're coming home to your wife and tiny kids every day after being with your mistress and just acting normal. That's villain behavior. When our writer found out, she kicked him out and filed for divorce. He moved in with his affair partner. Of course he did. Because why waste time pretending you're sorry when you can just immediately shack up with the person you destroyed your family for? The disrespect is already off the charts, and we're only like 3 sentences in. Then they had the audacity to fight for full or primary custody of the children, using the two-parent household as their excuse. I'm sorry, what? Let me get this straight. This man cheated on his wife, broke up his family, and then tried to use the fact that he's now living with his mistress as a reason why he should get the kids? The logic is not logicking. Your Honor, I destroyed our stable two-parent household, but now I've created a new two-parent household with the woman I cheated with, so clearly I should get the kids. Make it make sense. They lost. Custody is shared and parenting time is 50-50. Good. The audacity to even try for full custody after what he did is absolutely unhinged. At least the court saw through that nonsense. He married the affair partner before the ink was dry on the divorce papers. Of course he did. Nothing says true love like immediately marrying the person you had a 3-year affair with while your divorce from your children's mother is still being finalized. Romantic. Things were and still are very hostile. The affair partner didn't like that our writer wished for him to do the same thing to her. Oh, the mistress is mad that the ex-wife hopes karma comes around? That's rich. Like, girl, you knowingly had an affair with a married man for 3 years. What exactly did you think was going to happen? That everyone would just be cool with it? That the wife whose marriage you helped destroy would be your bestie? The delusion is strong with this one. The ex didn't like that our writer told his family she got tested for STDs after learning about his affair. The only reason she told them is because they wanted to know why she couldn't just be friends with her ex for the kid's sake. First of all, this family asking why she can't be friends with the man who cheated on her for 3 years is absolutely wild. Like, what kind of question is that? Hey, I know he completely betrayed you and destroyed your family, but have you considered just being chill about it? And her response was honestly perfect. She told them that before the affair partner, there was another coworker she now suspects he also had something with or wanted to. And because of those 2 situations, she needed to get tested to make sure he didn't give her anything. That's not petty, that's smart. That's protecting your health when you find out your partner has been sleeping with other people. But the ex told her it was petty and gross because he only had one affair with one woman for 3 years. Oh, only one affair? Only one? Sir, that doesn't make it better. I only betrayed you with one person consistently for 3 entire years. Is not the defense you think it is, my guy. The bar is literally underground. Our writer uses a co-parenting app for communication and ignores calls and texts from him. The only tricky part is face-to-face interactions, especially when the kids might see them together. She needs to keep up some civility for the kids' sake, which is more difficult than people realize. But she loves her kids more than she hates him. Can we just appreciate how mature this is? Like, she's not making her kids' lives harder by causing drama in front of them. She's keeping things civil when necessary, even though she has every right to be furious. That takes serious strength and self-control. The kids are all school age now and doing okay. They prefer mom's house and have a hard time being at their dad's house some weeks. I wonder why the kids don't love being at the house where their dad lives with the woman who helped break up their parents' marriage. What a mystery. Our writer has them seeing a therapist to help them process everything. Her ex and the affair partner were warned about pressuring the kids to call her mom or mama something, which they were doing for a while. The audacity. This woman helped destroy these kids' family and then tried to force them to call her mom? Are you kidding me right now? You don't get to break up a family and then demand the children treat you like their mother. That's not how this works. The kids don't like the affair partner, and our writer celebrates that in her head every single day. And honestly, valid. She's not saying it out loud to the kids. She's not poisoning them against this woman. She's just privately happy that her kids have good judgment and can recognize someone who hurt their family. That's called having feelings, and she's allowed as long as she's not putting that on the children. Our writer says she will never be sad that the kids don't feel like they have two moms when the affair partner is supposed to be the second mom. She finds it disgusting that this woman could knowingly help destroy their parents' marriage and then try to make the kids hers. Preach. This woman wasn't some innocent bystander who fell in love with a single guy. She knew he was married. She knew he had young children at home. She made the choice to have an affair with him anyway, and now she wants to play happy family? Nope. That's not how consequences work. Our writer doesn't share these feelings with her kids, but the kids know there are issues between mom and dad. They also have some understanding that their dad cheated, not because mom told them, but because of how badly the dad tried to explain things when they asked him questions. He doesn't believe in therapy, so there was no professional backup to help him navigate those conversations. So this man doesn't believe in therapy, but also can't explain his own actions to his children without accidentally admitting he cheated? That's what happens when you don't believe in professional help, buddy. You fumble the bag all on your own. Now here's where it gets absolutely bonkers. Around Halloween, the ex and affair partner approached our writer at the school's Halloween event. The ex said they needed to speak, and she told them unless it was about the kids, they didn't need to talk. Reasonable boundary. If it's not about the children, it's not her business or her problem. In a quieter moment, they caught her alone and told her that the affair partner is infertile and cannot have biological children. They've been trying for around 2 years. Okay, first of all, why are you telling your ex-wife this? What does this have to do with her? This is your personal medical information that has nothing to do with your co-parenting relationship. They told her it would mean so much if she would let go of her hate for them and be more kind to the affair partner and encouraging to her and the kids bonding so that she doesn't feel like an outsider forever. I'm sorry, what? They want the woman whose marriage they destroyed to be kind to the affair partner and help her bond with the children because she's sad she can't have her own kids? The audacity is actually making me dizzy. You can't make this up. The ex said the affair partner's infertility is painful and she loves the kids, and that our writer has successfully stopped them from bonding with her. No, sir. You stopped them from bonding with her when you cheated on their mother with her and destroyed their stable family. Kids aren't stupid. They can sense when someone isn't safe or trustworthy. This isn't mom's fault. This is the natural consequence of your actions. He told our writer that as someone who always wanted to be a mom and got to be one, she should be compassionate. The manipulation. Using her motherhood to guilt her into being nice to the woman who helped wreck her family, that's sick. That's actually sick. Our writer asked them why they were telling her their own personal private business that had nothing to do with her. Perfect response. Because seriously, why is this her problem? Her job is to co-parent the children, not to provide emotional support to her ex-husband's wife about her fertility struggles. The ex went from calm and pleading to pissed in seconds. He told her that was a disgusting reaction, and at the very least, she could have offered sympathies as her fellow co-parent and the kid's third parent. Third parent? Third parent? This woman is not a third parent, she's dad's wife. She doesn't get a special parenting title just because she married him. And calling our writer's reaction disgusting when he's the one who cheated and destroyed his family, the lack of self-awareness is actually impressive. Our writer walked away because she didn't want to discuss it or argue in case someone, especially the kids, heard. Again, showing way more maturity than her ex. She removed herself from a situation that could escalate instead of engaging. That's the right move. He then texted her several times that night asking where she gets her disgusting insensitivity from. This man cheated on her for 3 years, but she's the insensitive one for not offering sympathy to his affair partner about her fertility issues. The math isn't mathing. He tried to bring it up at a meeting they had with the school about one of their children. He tried to bring up his wife's fertility issues at a school meeting about their child. Sir, read the room. That is wildly inappropriate and completely irrelevant to whatever educational concern they were there to address. Our writer is ignoring him, but he's enraged. She had to send the text over to her attorney for documenting. Good. Document everything. This man is clearly unstable and trying to harass her into feeling sorry for his affair partner. That's not co-parenting, that's manipulation. She expected this to blow over by now, but it hasn't. So she's wondering if she's the asshole for her response. Let me be extremely clear here. No, not even slightly. The writer is not the asshole. Let's break down why this is absolutely ridiculous. This man cheated on our writer for 3 years with a coworker while they had 3 young children at home. He destroyed their family. He then immediately moved in with and married the affair partner. They tried to take full custody of the kids using their relationship as justification. They pressured the children to call the affair partner mom. And now they want the ex-wife to be compassionate about the affair partner's infertility struggles and help facilitate bonding with children who don't like her? Absolutely not. That is not how this works. Our writer's responsibility is to co-parent her children in a healthy way. That's it. She's doing that. She keeps things civil in front of the kids. She has them in therapy. She communicates through the proper channels. She is not required to provide emotional support to her ex-husband's wife about her personal medical issues. That's weird. That's crossing major boundaries. That's not her problem. The affair partner's infertility is sad, sure. Infertility is painful for anyone going through it. But that doesn't mean the woman whose marriage she helped destroy owes her sympathy or support. Those are consequences, not legal ones, not financial ones, but emotional and relational consequences of making the choice to have an affair with a married father of 3. The kids not bonding with her, also a consequence. Kids are smart. They know who's safe and who hurt their family. Our writer isn't bad-mouthing the affair partner to the kids. The kids just naturally don't like her because she's part of the reason their family broke up. That's not our writer's fault or responsibility to fix. And the ex getting angry about her disgusting insensitivity? That man has got nerve. You cheated for 3 years, but your ex-wife is insensitive for not caring about your new wife's fertility struggles? You tried to take full custody of your kids, but you're mad she won't help your wife bond with them? You destroyed your family, but you're upset she's not more compassionate? The entitlement is absolutely off the charts. Our writer owes these people exactly nothing beyond civil co-parenting communication about their children. She doesn't owe them friendship. She doesn't owe them sympathy. She doesn't owe them help with bonding. She doesn't owe them emotional labor or support. They made their choices, and now they're dealing with the reality that those choices have lasting consequences. Her response of, "Why are you telling me your personal business that has nothing to do with me?" was perfect. Because that's exactly what it is. personal business that has nothing to do with her role as a co-parent. They're trying to manipulate her into feeling guilty so she'll be nicer to them and make their lives easier. But she's not falling for it. The fact that the ex is now harassing her via text and trying to bring it up at school meetings shows this isn't about the kids or co-parenting at all. This is about him wanting his ex-wife to make his current wife feel better. And that's absolutely not her job, not the asshole, not even a little bit. Stand your ground, keep documenting everything, and continue doing exactly what you're doing. You're being a great mom by keeping things civil for your kids while maintaining healthy boundaries with people who hurt you. That's exactly what you should be doing. These two can deal with their own problems without expecting sympathy from the woman they betrayed. Am I the asshole for refusing to help my brother and sister-in-law while they're struggling by meal prepping a few meals a week for them and their kids? Okay, everyone, I need you to get comfortable because today's post from r/am I the asshole is about to make you so mad. We've got a 17-year-old who's been treated like absolute garbage by his older brother and sister-in-law for his entire life. And now those same people have the audacity to ask him for free labor. This is going to be a ride, so let's get into it. Our writer is 17 years old and has an older brother, James, who's 28, and married to a woman named Erica. They have 3 kids together with another one on the way. So there's an 11-year age gap between these brothers, which is significant. James was basically a preteen when our writer was born, which is relevant for what comes next. Our writer and James don't have a relationship. He feels like James resents him for being born or like he stole their parents from him or something because James was always a huge jerk to him. And when I say jerk, I don't mean typical sibling rivalry stuff. Let's talk about what James actually did. He would put stuff where our writer couldn't reach when he was little. Okay, so this is deliberately mean behavior toward a small child. This isn't playful teasing. This is a teenager or young adult purposely making a little kid's life harder for no reason. He would lock our writer in his room because he could. I'm sorry. What? That's not sibling rivalry. That's like borderline abusive behavior. You're locking a small child in a room because you have the power to do it? That's messed up on so many levels. And here's the kicker. James would drop our writer off at the neighbor's house when he agreed to babysit and was getting paid to watch him so their parents could go out. So let me get this straight. James agreed to babysit his little brother, took money from his parents to do it, and then immediately dumped the kid at the neighbor's house and pocketed the cash? That's not just mean, that's literally stealing from your parents and neglecting your responsibilities. What if there had been an emergency? What if the neighbors weren't home? This is genuinely terrible behavior. When James met Erica, she was a jerk to our writer too. She made fun of the way he talks because of his stutter. Oh, absolutely not. Making fun of someone's stutter? That's cruel. That's bullying. A stutter is not something anyone can control, and mocking someone for it, especially a child, is genuinely awful behavior. And this is a grown woman doing this to a kid. She also ignored him unless their parents were there. So she was fake nice when the parents were around, but showed her true colors when they weren't. Classic manipulative behavior. She knew what she was doing was wrong because she hid it from the parents. For a while, our writer's parents and James had a bad relationship because of how he and Erica treated our writer. Okay, so the parents knew this was happening and actually stood up for their younger son. That's good. That's what parents should do when one of their kids is being mistreated. But they made up and became close again and stayed close even when James didn't invite our writer to his wedding. Hold on, what? They reconciled with James even though he didn't invite his own brother to his wedding? That's wild. Like, I get wanting to repair relationships with your kids, but your son literally excluded his brother from one of the biggest events of his life. And you just let that slide? The parents are already starting to look a little weak here. James and Erica ignore our writer's birthdays, ignore him at Christmas, and never invite him to parties they throw. And it's not an age thing, because kids younger than him get invited. It's specifically a him thing. So they're deliberately excluding this kid from family events. They remember to invite younger kids, but consistently forget to invite him. That's intentional exclusion, and it's mean. This is sustained, ongoing rejection from his brother and sister-in-law. Our writer asked James why he hates him, and James ignored him. Can we talk about how heartbreaking this is? This teenager is literally asking his older brother why he's treated so badly, and James won't even give him the courtesy of an answer. When our writer tried to push him to answer, James laughed in his face and told him to get away from him. Laughed in his face. This man laughed at his teenage brother, who just wanted to understand why he's been treated like garbage his whole life. The cruelty is actually stunning. James and Erica have their 3 kids with another on the way. Erica's had a rough pregnancy, and our writer's parents help keep their house clean and stuff on weekends and have sent them money. But the parents don't really cook much. Okay, so the parents are already helping out significantly. They're cleaning their house on weekends and sending them money. They're stepping up for their struggling son and daughter-in-law, which is nice of them. Our writer usually cooks on Sundays and meal preps lunches for school and other stuff. He pays for the ingredients he uses because he doesn't really like the stuff his parents buy, and also because they mostly eat takeout for dinner. So the 17-year-old is more organized and responsible about his nutrition than his parents. He's meal prepping, he's planning ahead, and he's paying for his own groceries. That's actually really mature and responsible for a teenager. James started asking for food, so Erica and him didn't need to worry about that so much. Okay, so James, who has treated his brother like trash for his entire life, is now asking that same brother to cook for him. The audacity is already building. Our writer's parents said he should do it since he meal preps already. I'm sorry, the parents suggested this? The parents who know full well how James has treated their younger son are now volunteering his labor to James without even asking him first? James said it would be perfect. Of course, James thinks it's perfect. He gets free food from the brother he's spent years mistreating without having to do any work or even be nice to him. From his perspective, yeah, that's a great deal. The parents said to use the stuff they buy and meal prep for James's family. So not only should he do all the work, but he should use ingredients he doesn't even like or normally use. They're asking him to compromise the quality of food he makes for people who treat him terribly. Our writer told them he won't put his time into making food for people who treat him like garbage. Yes, good. This is a completely reasonable boundary. Why should you provide free labor and service to people who exclude you from family events, mock your stutter, and laugh in your face when you ask why they hate you? His parents said they're still family. But they're family card. This is the excuse people use when they want you to tolerate bad treatment from relatives. Being related by blood doesn't give someone a free pass to treat you badly and then expect favors. James was like, "What a TF, why are you okay with hurting my family?" when their parents told him. The audacity. This man has the nerve to accuse his brother of hurting his family when James has spent this kid's entire life hurting him. Where was James's concern about hurting family when he was locking his little brother in rooms, ditching him at neighbors' houses, excluding him from his wedding, and laughing in his face? Make it make sense. The parents said they were very disappointed in him, and this was the chance to build some bridges. I am furious on behalf of this 17-year-old right now. The parents are disappointed in the wrong kid. They should be disappointed in James for being a terrible brother for 17 years. They should be disappointed in themselves for enabling this dynamic. But instead, they're disappointed in their younger son for having boundaries and build some bridges. You can't build bridges with someone who's been actively burning them for nearly 2 decades. This isn't our writer's responsibility to fix. He didn't break this relationship. James did. James and Erica did. Every single day for years and years. Let's talk about what's really happening here, because I am heated. James has treated his younger brother terribly since he was born. We're talking sustained, intentional cruelty and exclusion for 17 years. He locked him in rooms as a child, abandoned his babysitting duties while taking payment, excluded him from major life events, ignores him on holidays and birthdays, and literally laughed in his face when asked why. Erica joined in by mocking a child's speech impediment and being fake nice only when the parents were watching. The parents, to their credit, initially stood up for our writer and had a falling out with James over this treatment. But then they reconciled and apparently decided to just overlook the ongoing mistreatment. They let James not invite his brother to his wedding. They watch as their sons have zero relationship. They see how James and Erica treat their younger son, and they've just accepted it. And now, when James and Erica are struggling, the parents' solution is to volunteer their 17-year-old's time and labor without even asking him first. They just told him he should do it. They're asking a teenager who already pays for his own groceries and meal preps for himself to now also meal prep for a family of 5, soon to be 6, uh, using ingredients he doesn't normally use, all to help people who have shown him nothing but contempt. And when he very reasonably says no, they tell him they're disappointed in him. They frame it as him not being willing to help family, completely ignoring that James has never once helped him or been kind to him. The build bridges comment is what really gets me. You know what builds bridges? Apologies, accountability, change behavior, treating people with respect. You can't build a bridge by yourself when the other person is actively trying to burn it down. James would have to want a relationship for bridge building to even be possible. And he's made it crystal clear he doesn't. This isn't a situation where there was some misunderstanding or they drifted apart. This is sustained, intentional cruelty and exclusion. You don't reward that behavior with free meal prep service. And let's talk about the entitlement here. James thinks he can treat his brother like trash for 17 years and then just ask for favors when it's convenient for him. That's not how relationships work. You can't ignore someone's existence, mock them, exclude them from your life, and then expect them to cook for you when you're struggling. If James wanted his brother's help, maybe he should have been a brother to him. Maybe he should have invited him to his wedding. Maybe he should have acknowledged his birthdays. Maybe he should have answered when his little brother asked why he was so mean to him. Maybe he should have apologized for being a jerk his whole life. But he didn't do any of those things. Instead, he laughed in his face and told him to get away. And now the parents are enabling this by telling our writer he should help anyway. They're teaching him that his boundaries don't matter, that his feelings don't matter, and that he should allow people to treat him poorly and still provide for them. That's a terrible lesson to teach a kid. The parents are also being completely unfair here. They're already helping James by cleaning his house every weekend and sending money. That's generous. But apparently that's not enough. Now they want to volunteer their other son's labor too, without even compensating him or acknowledging that what they're asking is a huge favor. Our writer is 17 years old. He's still in high school. He's already responsible enough to meal prep and buy his own groceries. He's not being asked to make one meal. He's being asked to regularly meal prep for a family of 5 plus himself using ingredients he doesn't like. That's hours of work every week. That's expensive. That's a massive ask, even if James was a great brother, which he absolutely is not. Here's my verdict, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. No, absolutely not. You are not the asshole. You don't owe your brother or sister-in-law a single thing. They have treated you with cruelty and contempt your entire life. They've excluded you, mocked you, ignored you, and rejected you at every turn. And now they want free labor from you? Absolutely not. Your parents are wrong. They're wrong to volunteer your time without asking. They're wrong to be disappointed in you for having boundaries. They're wrong to frame this as you not helping family when James has never once acted like family to you. Building bridges is not your responsibility. You didn't burn these bridges. James did. If he wants a relationship with you, he needs to put in the work. He needs to apologize. He needs to change his behavior. You don't build a relationship by providing free meal prep service to someone who treats you like garbage. Your parents can help James and Erica themselves if they want. They're already cleaning and sending money. If they want to add cooking to that, they can learn to cook, or they can pay for meal delivery, or they can give James money specifically for food. But they don't get to volunteer your time and labor. Stand your ground. This is a reasonable boundary. You're not being petty or vindictive. You're simply refusing to provide extensive free service to people who have made it clear they don't want you in their lives except when you can be useful to them. If your parents keep pushing, maybe ask them why they're more concerned about James's feelings than yours. Ask them why you should help someone who laughed in your face. Ask them why James gets to treat you terribly for 17 years with no consequences, but you're expected to be the bigger person and help anyway. You deserve better than this. Don't let anyone guilt you into thinking otherwise. Not the asshole. Not even a little bit. Am I the asshole for not firing the cleaning lady because my girlfriend asked me to? Okay, y'all, buckle up because today's post from r/am I the asshole starts out sounding like the most ridiculous non-issue argument you've ever heard, but then takes a turn that's going to have us unpacking some serious red flags. We've got a hardworking cleaning lady, a suspicious girlfriend, and what starts as a debate about a can of Pepsi that spirals into something way bigger. Let's get into this mess. Our writer is a 42-year-old guy who has a cleaning lady that comes every other week. She's super hardworking, really nice, and he completely trusts her. She comes while he's at work, and he gets to come home to a clean house. Living the dream, honestly. Coming home to a clean house that you didn't have to clean yourself? That's what we call self-care. That's called being a responsible adult who knows their limitations and hires help. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. One time, the cleaning lady told him she drank a can of Pepsi from his fridge and even asked if she should pay him back. Can we talk about how sweet this is? She drank one can of soda and felt so bad about it that she offered to pay him back. This woman is clearly respectful and conscientious about boundaries. She's not just helping herself to his stuff. She literally asked permission after the fact and offered to reimburse him for a drink that probably costs like $1. He told her she 100% has his permission to take a break and eat or drink whatever she needs while she's there. Since then, she'll occasionally have a pop, a glass of juice, or once she had a piece of toast. She's never helped herself to any meals, snacks, or anything beyond that. So let me get this straight. This woman is doing physical labor, cleaning his entire house, and occasionally she has a drink or a piece of toast during her break. That's it. She's not making herself a 5-course meal. She's not raiding his pantry. She's having the bare minimum to stay hydrated and function while doing manual labor. This is completely reasonable, and honestly, he should be offering her food and drinks. That's just being a decent human to someone working in your home. His girlfriend was over the other night and said she saw the cleaning lady stealing from the fridge. Stealing. She used the word stealing for a woman who has explicit permission to take breaks and have food or drinks. That's not stealing. That's literally doing what she was told she's allowed to do. The drama is already starting, and I can feel my blood pressure rising. Our writer told his girlfriend she wasn't stealing, she has permission, and she's definitely not sitting around being lazy. She was taking a break. Perfectly reasonable explanation. He gave permission, the woman is working hard, and she's taking a normal break that any human being needs during physical labor. What's the problem? The girlfriend said it's weird, unprofessional, and that it could lead to boundary crossing. Weird? Weird? What's weird about a human being drinking water or having a snack during a work break? And boundary crossing? What boundaries exactly? The boundary he explicitly told her she could cross by giving her permission? Make it make sense. Our writer told her he's known this woman for 2 years and nothing like that has ever happened. The girlfriend thinks he should fire her before it gets worse. Gets worse? Gets worse. What exactly is going to get worse? Is the cleaning lady going to graduate from toast to a bagel? Is she going to have the audacity to drink 2 cans of Pepsi? The logic is not logicking here, and I'm getting major weird vibes from this girlfriend. Our writer is asking if he's wrong for thinking, why change something that's been working perfectly fine for 2 years? He's not wrong. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. This arrangement has been working great. The house gets clean, the cleaning lady gets to take normal human breaks, everyone's happy. Why would you mess with that? Then there's an update where the girlfriend hung up on him because he still doesn't understand her logic. Girl, we don't understand your logic either, because there is no logic. This is giving controlling, this is giving insecure, this is giving red flags. Our writer talked to his girlfriend, and she said she thinks it's weird that the cleaning lady can grab something to eat or drink. She said it'd be better if she brought her own stuff. So now we're expecting someone who goes to multiple clients a day to carry around a cooler of snacks and drinks on top of all their cleaning supplies. That's completely unreasonable. This woman is probably going from house to house with a car full of vacuum cleaners, mops, uh, cleaning products, and you want her to also pack a whole lunch bag? Why, when the client is offering to share basic refreshments? Our writer makes this exact point. The woman goes to multiple clients a day and can't be carrying a whole suitcase of snacks on top of the vacuum, mop, and everything else. And it's not like she's raiding the whole fridge. So who cares? Exactly. She's having a drink and maybe a piece of toast. She's not cooking herself a steak dinner. This is the most minimal, reasonable thing ever. The girlfriend said it just makes her uncomfortable. Ah, there it is. The real issue. It's not about professionalism or boundaries. It makes her uncomfortable. But why? Why does a hardworking woman having a sip of juice make you uncomfortable? That's the question we need to unpack here. Then, and this is where it gets really interesting, the girlfriend asked why he even needs a cleaning lady when he lives in a 2-bedroom and told him to just be an adult and clean your own place. Oh, here we go. Now we're getting to the real issue. This isn't about the Pepsi at all. This is about her judging him for having a cleaning lady in the first place. And that just be an adult comment? That's condescending as hell. She said he doesn't need a cleaning lady to mommy him. Mommy him? Having someone clean your house is not being mommied. It's called hiring a service. Do you also tell people who hire landscapers that they're being daddied because they don't mow their own lawn? Do you tell people who go to restaurants they're being mommied because they didn't cook their own food? The logic is broken. Our writer said she's not mommying him. She's a huge help, and his place looks amazing after she leaves. Facts. Hiring help for something you don't want to do or don't have time for is called being a functional adult with resources. It's not childish. It's actually very mature to recognize what you need help with and get that help. Then the girlfriend drops this bomb. She said when they move in or get married, the cleaning lady has to go because she doesn't like strangers in her house and that he needs to get off his ass and do his part. Hold up. First of all, they don't even live together yet, and she's already making demands about his house and his money and his choices. Second, get off his ass? This man works full-time and pays for cleaning services. He's not lazy, he's efficient. Third, she's already planning their future living situation and making unilateral decisions about what will and won't be allowed. Red flag city, population. This girlfriend. She kept going on about how he's being lazy and acting like a man baby and that he should act like an adult. The name calling is really getting out of hand now. Man baby? For hiring a cleaning service? For having the financial means to pay someone to do a job he doesn't want to do? That's not being a man baby. That's called having priorities and managing your time and money how you see fit. Our writer told her he's 42, and for his 40th birthday, he hired a cleaning lady as a gift to himself because he wants his free time to relax. And he's not changing that. Good for him. This man worked hard enough to be able to afford this luxury. He gave himself this gift, and he's enjoying having clean space without sacrificing his free time. That's healthy. That's self-care. That's exactly what an adult should do with their money if they can afford it. He told her honestly he has no idea what her problem is and he just doesn't get it. Neither do we, my guy. Neither do we. Because on the surface, this about a can of Pepsi, but underneath it's about control, insecurity, and some seriously concerning attitudes. She hung up on him. He said whatever, he's honestly too old for this, and he's going to bed. The energy of a 42-year-old man who is done with unnecessary drama is honestly refreshing. Like, yeah, he is too old for this. He's too old to be called names and told he's not a real adult for making smart choices with his money. Okay, so let's unpack what's really happening here because this is about so much more than a cleaning lady drinking a Pepsi. First, the girlfriend's reaction to the cleaning lady having a drink is completely over the top. The woman has permission, She's been trustworthy for 2 years, and she's having the bare minimum refreshments during a break from physical labor. The stealing and boundary crossing language is dramatic and honestly kind of mean spirited toward a hardworking woman who's done nothing wrong. Second, the "it makes me uncomfortable" excuse without any actual reason is a red flag. Why does it make you uncomfortable? Is it jealousy? Is it insecurity? Is it some weird possessiveness over his stuff? Because if you can't articulate why something bothers you, that's usually a sign you need to do some internal work, not demand someone else change their life. Third, and this is the big one, the girlfriend is already trying to control what he does in his house that he pays for with his money. They don't even live together yet, and she's making demands about firing his cleaning lady, telling him what will and won't be allowed when they move in together, and calling him names for choices that are completely reasonable. The mommy comment is especially telling. She's framing his completely normal adult decision to hire help as him being childish and dependent. But you know what's actually childish? Throwing a fit because someone's cleaning lady had a can of soda. Name calling your partner instead of having a respectful conversation. Demanding someone fire a trustworthy employee for no good reason. And the fact that she doesn't want strangers in her house when they move in together, that's controlling behavior. That's her deciding that his preference for having help doesn't matter because she doesn't like it. In a healthy relationship, you'd have a conversation about this, maybe compromise on the schedule, or be there when the cleaner comes if it really bothers you. You don't just demand they fire someone and call your partner lazy. The "get off your ass and do your part" comment implies that she thinks he's not pulling his weight, but he is. He's working full time and paying someone to handle the cleaning. That is doing his part. He's managing his household in a way that works for him. That's adulting. Here's what I think is really going on. The girlfriend has some preconceived notions about gender roles and what men should be doing. She thinks he should be cleaning his own house because that's what real adults do. And she's judging him for choosing to spend his money on a service instead. She might also be insecure about another woman being in his space, even though that woman is there to work and has been nothing but professional. The fact that she escalated from "the cleaning lady had a drink" to "you're a lazy man, baby, and when we get married, she's fired" in one conversation is wild. That's not normal. That's controlling behavior with some judgmental attitudes mixed in. Our writer is 42 years old, financially stable enough to afford regular cleaning services, and has made a choice that improves his quality of life. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing. He's not being lazy. He's being smart with his time and resources. So here's my verdict. No, not even slightly. The writer is not the asshole. You hired someone to do a job. You're treating that person with respect and basic human decency by allowing them to take breaks and have refreshments while they work. That's actually really kind. You've had a good working relationship for 2 years with no problems. Why would you fire someone who's doing great work because your girlfriend has weird hangups? Your girlfriend is showing some concerning behavior here. The controlling demands about your house and your money, the name calling, the judgment about how you choose to spend your resources, the escalation from a minor issue to threats about the future. These are all red flags that you need to pay attention to. If she thinks hiring a cleaning lady is being mommied, what else is she going to have a problem with? Hiring a handyman instead of doing repairs yourself? Getting your oil changed instead of doing it yourself? Ordering takeout instead of cooking? Where does it end? You're allowed to spend your money however you want. You're allowed to hire help for tasks you don't want to do. You're allowed to prioritize your free time for relaxation instead of cleaning. These are all completely normal, healthy adult choices. Don't fire your cleaning lady, but maybe reconsider the girlfriend who thinks she gets to control your household decisions before you even live together and calls you degrading names when you don't immediately comply with her demands. Not the asshole. Keep the cleaning lady, lose the controlling girlfriend. Am I the asshole for telling my roommate it's not my problem if I trigger their ED? All right, everyone, settle in because today's post from r/am the asshole is going to have us discussing boundaries, mental health, shared living spaces, and where exactly the line is between being considerate and being expected to completely change your lifestyle for someone else. This one's tricky, and I can already feel the comment section is probably going wild. Let's break this down. Our writer is a college student living off campus with two other people, a friend he's lived with for the past 2 years, and that friend's girlfriend who just moved in this year. Living with his friend has been smooth sailing with no issues for 2 years. So we've got an established dynamic here that's been working fine. Two roommates who know each other's habits, and coexist peacefully. That's actually rare in college housing situations, so good for them. Our writer is a gym goer and takes his fitness and diet pretty seriously. He tracks his macros strictly, which involves sometimes weighing food, sticking to the same foods usually, and refusing all junk food and alcohol. Okay, so this is someone who's committed to their fitness goals and has a routine that works for them. Tracking macros is super common for people who are serious about the gym. You're basically making sure you're getting the right balance of protein, carbs, and fats to support your fitness goals. Nothing unusual or extreme about this. Lots of people do it. The girlfriend took him aside and told him she has an eating disorder and that seeing him be so strict about his food makes her feel self-conscious and triggers her desire to relapse. She asked him to do something different so she's more comfortable. Okay, this is where things get complicated. First of all, having an ED is genuinely difficult, and I don't want to minimize that struggle. Eating disorders are serious mental health conditions, and triggers are real. That's valid. But let's hear what exactly she's asking for. Our writer asked what she meant by do something different. Good question, because be different is pretty vague and could mean anything from small adjustments to completely overhauling your lifestyle. She said he shouldn't weigh food in front of her in the kitchen, should be less strict with his diet, and should stop refusing junk food when she and her boyfriend go out to get some and ask him to have some. Okay, so let's break down these requests one by one because they're very different asks. First, she doesn't want him weighing food in front of her in the kitchen. The kitchen is a shared space in the apartment they all pay for. She's asking him to either not use the kitchen when she's there or to fundamentally change how he preps his food. That's a pretty big ask in a shared living situation. Second, she wants him to be less strict with his diet. That's literally asking him to change his entire lifestyle and fitness routine because it makes her uncomfortable. He's not commenting on her diet. He's not pushing his habits on her. He's just existing and following his own routine. But she wants him to change that. Third, she wants him to stop refusing junk food when they offer it to him. So not only should he change his diet in general, but he should specifically say yes when offered food he doesn't want to eat. That's wild. That's asking someone to consume things they don't want to consume to make you feel better. Our writer told her she doesn't really have a right to ask that of him, and that while he hopes she's okay, her ED isn't really his problem. Okay, so the delivery here is a little harsh with the not my problem phrasing, but the core message is actually reasonable. He's saying her mental health struggles don't give her the right to control his behavior in his own home, which is kind of true. She called him an asshole for this. Her boyfriend, his friend, is refusing to take sides. The boyfriend refusing to take sides is probably the smartest move, honestly, because he's stuck between his girlfriend and his friend. But let's talk about what's really happening here. Here's the thing. This is actually a really nuanced situation, and I can see both perspectives, but ultimately, I think our writer is right, even if he could have said it nicer. Let's start with what's valid about the girlfriend's concerns. Eating disorders are serious, triggers are real, recovery is hard, and seeing certain behaviors can absolutely make it harder. If she's in recovery and struggling, she deserves support and compassion. All of that is true and important. But, and this is a big but, she moved into their apartment. Our writer has been living there for 2 years with his friend. He's been following this routine presumably the whole time, or at least for a significant portion of that time. She came into an established living situation with established routines and is now asking someone to fundamentally change their lifestyle to accommodate her. That's very different from if they'd all moved in together at the same time and were establishing ground rules, or if our writer had suddenly started these habits after she moved in. He was already doing this. This is his normal. She knew or should have known what the living situation was before moving in. The request to not weigh food in the shared kitchen is the most reasonable of her asks, honestly. Like, could he maybe do that in his room or when she's not around? Maybe. That's a compromise that doesn't require him to change his actual routine, just the visibility of it. But even that is asking him to modify his use of a shared space that he pays for. But the other requests, asking him to be less strict with his diet and to start eating junk food he doesn't want, that's not reasonable. That's asking him to sacrifice his health and fitness goals to manage her mental health. And that's not how this works. Here's the hard truth. You cannot you cannot expect the world to change to avoid your triggers. That's not how recovery works, and it's not fair to the people around you. Part of recovery is learning to exist in a world where other people have different relationships with food, and that's okay. You can't ask everyone around you to eat differently because you're struggling with your own eating. If seeing someone weigh their food is triggering, that's something to work on in therapy, not something to demand other people stop doing. If seeing someone refuse junk food is triggering, that's an internal thing to process, not an external thing to control. And let's be real about what she's actually asking him to do. She wants him to eat foods he doesn't want to eat. That's literally asking him to have an unhealthy relationship with food to make her feel better about her unhealthy relationship with food. That's not okay. Forcing yourself to eat things you don't want to eat for social comfort is actually a disordered eating behavior in itself. Our writer has his own relationship with food and fitness. He's tracking macros for gym performance, which is a completely normal and healthy thing to do when you're serious about fitness. He's not starving himself, he's not purging, he's not doing anything harmful. He's literally just being intentional about his nutrition to support his athletic goals. That's healthy. The girlfriend is essentially asking him to be less healthy to make her feel better. And that's backwards. Now let's talk about the delivery. Saying your ED isn't really my problem is harsh. It's blunt. It lacks compassion. He could have said the same thing in a kinder way, like, I understand you're struggling and I want to support you, but I can't change my fitness routine and diet. Maybe we can figure out some small compromises, but I need to be able to live my life in my own home. That would have communicated the same boundary, but with more empathy. So yeah, he could have been nicer about it, but being harsh doesn't make him wrong. His boundary is valid, even if he expressed it poorly. Here's what a reasonable compromise might look like. Maybe he can weigh his food in his room when possible, or just be quick about it in the kitchen. Maybe he can be less detailed when talking about his diet and conversation. Maybe they can have a signal or system where if she's having a particularly hard day, he's extra mindful. But what's not reasonable is asking him to change his actual diet, start eating foods he doesn't want, or fundamentally alter his fitness routine. Those are his choices about his body and his health, and she doesn't get to dictate those. Also, let's talk about the fact that she's asking him to eat junk food when he refuses it. That's so manipulative. He's allowed to say no to food he doesn't want. Anyone, ED or not, should understand that you don't pressure people to eat things they don't want to eat. That's basic consent and boundaries around food. The fact that she's framing his boundary around food as the problem is actually kind of ironic given that she's struggling with her own food boundaries. If the roles were reversed and he was asking her to change her eating habits to make him comfortable, everyone would rightfully call that controlling and inappropriate. The fact that she has an ED doesn't change that dynamic. Mental health struggles don't give you a free pass to control other people's behavior. They just don't. You're allowed to ask for reasonable accommodations, but change your entire lifestyle is not a reasonable accommodation. And the boyfriend refusing to take sides, I get it. But also, he kind of needs to have a conversation with his girlfriend about reasonable expectations. She's putting both of them in an impossible position, asking her boyfriend's roommate to change his lifestyle, which affects his boyfriend too, since they share a space, and then expecting her boyfriend to back her up on unreasonable requests. The writer has lived there for 2 years. The girlfriend is new. She doesn't get to move in and start making demands about how other people live in their own home. That's not how roommate situations work. If being around someone who tracks their food is genuinely too triggering for her recovery, then maybe she shouldn't be living in a situation with someone who does that. That's not mean. That's just acknowledging that sometimes living situations aren't compatible with our mental health needs. And when that's the case, we need to find a different situation. She can't move into an incompatible situation and then demand everyone else change. So here's my verdict. No, you're not the asshole for maintaining your boundaries. Your lifestyle and fitness routine are your choices, and you get to make those choices in your own home that you pay for. You're not forcing your habits on anyone else. You're not commenting on their eating. You're literally just existing and following your own routine. Could you have been kinder in how you said it? Yes. The not my problem phrasing was harsh and lacked empathy. You could acknowledge that her struggle is real and difficult while still maintaining that you can't change your lifestyle. But your actual boundary is completely valid. You don't have to eat food you don't want to eat. You don't have to change your diet. You don't have to stop pursuing your fitness goals because it makes someone else uncomfortable. If you want to be a good roommate, maybe you can make some small accommodations like being quick about weighing food in the kitchen or not discussing your diet in detail around her. Those are minor adjustments that don't actually change your routine, but completely overhauling your relationship with food and fitness? Nope. That's not reasonable, and you shouldn't feel guilty for saying no to that. Not the asshole. Keep your routine, but maybe work on your communication skills.